Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely. With me today, of course, is co-founder of The Gaggle, Peter Lavelle, host also of RT's talk show, Crosstalk. Well, yesterday, something very unsurprising happened. The feds raided the home and office of Rudy Giuliani. As the New York Times nicely put it, it's kind of unusual for the feds to raid the offices of a lawyer. And it's even more unusual for them to raid the offices of a lawyer representing a president. And indeed, that really is the gravamen of what's going on here, because uh, what these authorities are looking for is very, very unclear. And it's very unclear what crimes Rudy Giuliani is suspected of having committed. Now, we know something about how he had gone to Ukraine to look for evidence of the Biden family's wrongdoing. Plenty there to look for. But that isn't a crime.
Fair game.
Yeah, I mean, it's covered by the First Amendment. The First Amendment covers anybody who's seeking information. You have an unconditional right to seek information. That's what he was doing. You can go to the Kremlin, you can go to Beijing. If you just all you want is just information, you can't
go to Christopher Steele.
Exactly. No, exactly. So there's that. And then they're talking about, oh, well, he may have violated the Foreign Agents Registration Act, an absolute nonsensical piece of legislation, which
look,
no one
seven people have been brought up on it, and
something like that. Absolutely ridiculous, and it's a pure technicality. I mean, it's just one of these technical laws.
Well, half of Washington should be.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. So that now. What's really going on is, of course, an attempt to, again, discredit, destroy Trumpism. It's clearly an attempt to intimidate anybody at all who's involved in the Trump world. It's also an attempt to basically cover for the Bidens. Because, hey, we're not talking about what the Bidens were doing in Ukraine, and there is a mountain of evidence about Burisma, Biden, the old man involvement in Burisma.
Masha.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not talking about that. And of course, again, you managed to turn Russiagate around, and then suddenly the bad guys have not only got away with it, all the people who spied, used and abused the offices of government to intimidate their political opponents, they got away with it, and they are the ones who are persecuting the investigators. So if we look back on the early days of the Trump administration, remember Donald Trump said in an interview early on, he said, I'm not going to go after the Clintons. They've suffered enough. I'm going to, not going to do it. And so this person, who everybody's discovered, he's a fascist and a dictator, he's vindictive, he's narcissistic. He never did any of this. And he should have done. He should have gone after the Clintons. There's plenty there to investigate. He should have declassified all of the information about Russiagate. He didn't do it. And he, basically, he shouldn't have just allowed his people now to fall in the mercy of the Biden team, who are really, they mean business. I mean, these are people who want to destroy people's lives. Even if they don't send them to prison, at least they would like to bankrupt them. So Trump, again, showed himself to be very, very naive in his approach.
What he should have done, and you and I talked about this before, he should have given a blanket pardon to all of them.
Yeah.
Because this is inevitable. It's no coincidence. We should call this the No Coincidence podcast. They're going after Giuliani first,
right? So
they can go down.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And they're going to he's going to be set up as the example, and so they're going to tell everyone, you saw what we did to Rudy,
right?
Okay. And, what they want people is to him. They want them to recant. They want all of them to recant.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. This is an inquisition. Let's say it. We said it here. This is an inquisition. You know what? They wanted all of his electronic devices, except for what, George?
Yeah, the Hunter Biden material. Yeah, and it's very interesting what you say. Yeah, because his lawyer issued a statement on behalf of Giuliani and said that the one thing they weren't interested in was the Hunter Biden devices, and Giuliani offered them, hey, are you interested in this? Here are all the Hunter Biden devices. Nah, we're good. We're not interested in any of that. So yeah,
that's like going into someone's house, looking for illegal arms, and it's full of cocaine, and we're not interested in this. Okay, we're looking for something else. Okay,
right.
I mean, this is that. I mean, but don't you think this is kind of like in your face? We're not interested in this. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
We're not looking for dirt. We're looking for dirt on you.
That's it. That's exactly.
And if there isn't a better example of a bifurcated justice system now, I mean, this is what we feared. They're doing this with impunity. I mean, they really want you to, they want to squeeze you. I mean, they really want you to humiliate you. Yeah. And they're not going to let this go, George. They're not going to let it go. No. Trump will be in the courts to the end of his days, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
And what they're telling people, that anyone that wants to be associated with Trump, you're fair game, right, with all of the power of the federal government and all of its vast, endless resources.
Right. No, that's exactly right.
I mean, having said everything we've agreed to here, Giuliani shot off his mouth way too many times. I think you pointed out, he'd come on Laura and it looked like he had a couple of scotches after dinner. Okay. Well, that's what it looked like to me too.
Looked like that to me, yeah.
This is what our eyes told us. Okay. But I think this is very, very dangerous. They don't do this to other people. They did it to Roger Stone. Okay. They're going to go after him. They're going after him again too.
Yes.
All right. I mean, so this is a sign of the times. What did we hear on Inauguration Day? Unity?
Yeah. And one thing that we should also mention, which we talked about before, is Matt Gaetz. Remember, now it's been, 5-6 weeks since the Matt Gaetz story broke.
He's gone.
What's happened about that? Where is all that sex trafficking, the sex with underage girls, all of those things that the media were heatedly writing about? What's happened about that? It's a kind of a sex scandal without a victim. I mean, it's kind of a unique in history. Somebody's accused of sexual misdemeanors, but there's no victim. Whom has he supposed to have treated illegally? So that young woman, again, we know nothing about this, but it has served to push him out of the way. I mean, he's disappeared. I mean, he was a powerful, eloquent voice on behalf of populism, Trumpism, whatever. He's now vanished. I mean, he may come back, but he served its purpose.
He was a veritable ambassador for populism in America. He went to Wyoming, okay, to put Liz Cheney on notice. And of course, he was regularly booked on Fox News. He was one of the most common figures you would see as guests. And so, yeah, I mean, this is just what they've done is just drag his name through the dirt. And so it doesn't really matter what the truth is anymore. They've done what they wanted to do. They wanted to smear him. They did.
Right. That's right.
And with those kind of charges, everyone's going like, whoa. Yeah. But again, you want the pictures on Hunter's laptop?
Right. That's right. So in the meanwhile,
real victims.
Right. Yeah. And what's the betting that at some point, remember, there's still supposedly a DOJ investigation of Hunter Biden. What is the betting that in 6 months' time, they will issue a statement that we've looked into the Hunter Biden affair and we don't find anything at all that rises to the level of criminality. And this is a wonderful, clean bill of health. Let the money roll in. I'm here. I'm for hire for every single crooked politician around the world. I'm here to lobby my dad for
Yeah, and even the gun charge.
right, even the gun charge, exactly, exactly. So it's and yet again we go back to the Republicans. The people who are in charge of the DOJ were all of the people who were in charge of the DOJ in the Obama years, who used the Trump years to smear Trump with this absolutely nonsensical, idiotic Russiagate hoax, and then the Republicans just confirmed them. Happily just to confirm them. The one person, there's only one person Republicans didn't confirm, and that was that Neera Tanden. And why didn't they confirm her? Because she said mean things about them. She sent out mean tweets, and that they won't tolerate. Doesn't matter, you can destroy, Trump, you can lie and everything, but to say anything mean about us, that will not forget.
Or they draw the line. Even Bernie wouldn't
That's
say anything, okay?
That's it. Yeah.
No, I mean, just, speaking about Giuliani, but looking at, because he was a very a star in the Republican Party. What have the Republicans done in the first 100 days of Biden's administration?
Nothing.
Can you tell me? I have time, George, if you really need to think. I have time. I can't think of anything. Oh, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's stunning. And one has
and if you watched, I didn't watch all of it. I mean, I don't know if you did. Okay, the speech here, but I mean, objectively speaking, when Joe Biden is saying America's on suicide watch, no Republican response. Tim Scott did a good job. I think he did a really good job, but it wasn't in sync because obviously he wasn't reacting to the speech because it was obviously pre-recorded. Like, I mean. There were no dots connected here. Okay. So I thought he did a good job. But when you look at all of the spending that's coming up, I don't see so much resistance because they'll negotiate it out. Okay. And I, what's it? What's the thing that you have? I forget the term where it's basically pork, but what's the term for it? Earmarks?
I think it's earmarks. Yes, that earmarks. Yeah. I
mean, but see, it's kind of nudge, nod. That's why they're going along. Okay, we'll pick away at it. Okay, we'll get our goodies too. Back to the old way of doing things.
It is a fascinating thing. I mean, here is Biden promising to spend money that no one's ever spent before.
6.1 trillion.
Trillions here. I mean, it's like. It's like, well, what has happened to the sort of the laws of economics? I mean, people remember the 1960s when America was running a war in Vietnam and a vast domestic program at home, the Great Society program of Johnson, and that was when America was doing well economically. But that triggered the inflation of the 1970s. So you've abandoned all the rules. No, there's no inflation. We can just go on printing money indefinitely. No, that just isn't going to work. I mean, it's just ludicrous to believe that you can just simply go on printing money and all of these programs, no one ever has to pay for.
Yeah, and particularly when the rich, I mean, what was the report I saw a couple of days ago? Jewelry of all things. I mean, the supply is so scarce because people are buying into, they want something that's going to hold its value because they know paper, that's not going to hold much value. Right. I mean, what is the most sought after commodity for the rich? Land. Mm-hmm. Because God isn't making any more of it, okay?
Right, that's exactly right.
I mean, these people they're devious, but they're not stupid. Okay. Right. Yeah. And this whole thing about taxing the rich, it just irritates me to hell. These people, if they just enforce the tax code as it is today, right, as swayed and biased in one direction for the rich, if you just collected the money they owe,
right? Okay.
No. You know why they don't do it, George? Because it costs too much money. Going after a middle-class person, they have the resources to squash that person.
Oh, that's right.
But a super rich one, no, you need that's years, that's lawyers.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. They come, the super rich come armed with a battery of crack tax lawyers. They know all of the tricks. They know exactly how to limit your liabilities. I remember when they were going after Trump. Oh, Trump doesn't pay his taxes. And, Trump said, look, I just took advantage of the laws. Yeah, that's what you do. You're a rich person. You hire the best tax lawyers and you take advantage of the laws to minimize your tax liabilities. That, there's nothing new about that. That's the way, the American system works. If you're rich, you've always got an angle. If you're not rich, you don't have an angle.
And the law is catered towards you. I mean, when you listen to all these people, the tax cuts and all of that, I don't know, 25%, 26, I mean, these people all know where their donors are, okay? And this is why, they're in a sense, they're a paid lawyer as well. They just happen to be holding office.
Right. But going back to Giuliani, I mean, it really is an amazing phenomenon. Now, here we have, all the things that they said about Trump, all this ridiculous dictator, fascist, totalitarian, the most dangerous man in American history. He didn't do anything. He never used the DOJ against political enemies.
He never did it against someone else.
What?
He never did it against someone else. I may be wrong, but I think on election night, he was asked about the Clintons. I think it was on election night.
That's right. Okay, well, I mean, even to be honest, even at the time, I thought, wow, this guy is naive. I mean, it's very nice to be generous to say, oh well, you don't want to kick a loser in the face. He's down. You don't kick it. No, with the Clintons, they're gonna come back. You don't just give up something, unilaterally. It was a little like when. No way. You remember when in one of the debates in 2016 with Bernie Sanders, and he said something like, I'm not interested in your stupid emails.
Your lousy emails.
That's it. And Hillary Clinton rushed over and pumped his hand. Hillary Clinton knew, what an idiot. He's basically lost the race. He had this one issue and he just tossed it away. So yeah, I mean, Trump didn't do it. But even when the magnitude of Russiagate emerged, he nonetheless didn't do what he needed to do. He needed to declassify everything. It's within his powers to declassify information, every single thing. All the involvement of at the highest level of the Obama administration. It didn't happen. And now, it's his people who are being, persecuted and prosecuted.
Okay, well, I mean, are they going to respect client privilege? I mean, they have Giuliani's documents.
I know. That in itself is also just amazing.
Are they going to respect that?
Yeah.
Some lawyer, it's just like they did with spying on American citizens. What do? I mean, technically, the FBI, there's many things they shouldn't do and can't do under the law.
Right.
But it doesn't stop the Brits from doing it on an American citizen. And they're going to do the same thing, run around, okay? They're going to find something and they'll track it back and then they'll find another way in, okay? That's what they're going to do. Oh, we didn't violate. No, it's sacrosanct. We came across this from a different source. Watch what they do. They're going to find it all and they'll create their little maze.
That's right.
And then, of course, MSNBC and CNBC like, yay! They won't question it.
That's right.
And most people at Fox won't either.
No, that's right. And of course, what we already know will happen is, of course, that the DOJ will start leaking out material from all of these devices. That they'll just leak this out, just like the DOJ leaks out this stuff about Matt Gaetz. How does that leak out? Somebody's under investigation. So they're going to just leak this out by dribs and drabs, the usual way. Oh, Giuliani talked to this guy, Firtash, he has links with Russian intelligence. Links with Russian intelligence is the ubiquitous term which you can just sort of scoop up everybody.
My dogs have links to the Russian government, okay? My dogs have links to the Russian government.
That's exactly it. I mean, the journalists have, learned this as a wonderful term of art, links with Russian intelligence. It sounds scary until you actually think about it. What the hell does that mean? It's like the way the media report that, Giuliani was seeking to dig up dirt on the Bidens in Ukraine. Well, that sounds terrible. He was seeking information about the former vice president of the United States and the activities of the Obama administration in Ukraine, which is what everybody should be doing and should
With
be doing for years.
publicly traded companies
Right.
that have transparency demands on them. If a shareholder can ask for information, okay, certain information you have to report to government that is public, okay? I mean, there's so much of it that is public. It's just that no one's taken the interest in really going through it. I mean, there are plenty of witnesses in Ukraine say, I'll talk. I know something.
Right. Right. No, exactly. Because, and rightly, and many people in Ukraine are kind of disgusted by what the Bidens did, but disgusted with what the Obama administration did. They looted the country. I mean, how does it come about that in this poor country, some creep like Hunter Biden can walk away with $1 million a year, who has no, we know this. He has no experience of the energy industry, no knowledge of Russian, no knowledge of Ukrainian. He never even visited Ukraine, and he walks away with $1 million a year.
Well, as a professor at Tulane University, he's perfectly poised to give lectures on influence peddling. If you have the right last name, that's kind of a nice name of a course, if you have the right last name.
That's it.
I mean, what an insult! What an insult! What do you think professors at Tulane University think? Is that this guy? Really?
Right. Well, it's a close second to Georgetown hiring Peter Strzok. I'm not sure what the title of his course is. I mean, that's that's an amazing one. I mean, and of course, Comey also, I think he teaches some ethics course. I can't remember which law school. So it's a wonderful how all of these people.
Yeah, it's like a pyromaniac giving a course on fire safety.
Exactly. And of course, Masha Yovanovitch, remember Masha, the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, who apparently is considered as a lifetime appointment. You're supposed to, you have a job as ambassador for life. And it was an absolute temerity on the part of her boss, the president of the United States, to want to remove her. I mean, she was disgusted. And all her champions were disgusted. I mean, how dare you try to remove an ambassador to Ukraine?
Every 4 years, ambassadors across the board are fired.
Right, exactly.
Nothing new. Right. And anyone in the executive branch serves at the pleasure of the president. Now, if you're a lifetime public employee, well, we can make you head of latrine duty in Montana. Good luck. Send us a message. Send pictures, okay?
But
you still get your salary, you still get your benefits.
And the hilarious thing about it, because Obama fired every single ambassador. He fired them.
How many federal attorneys did he fire?
Exactly. I mean, that's what presidents do. But instead, we had this nonsensical story. Giuliani was trying to get Masha Yovanovitch fired because he was putting out all these smears about her. Well, president didn't like her. He's entitled not to like her. He's entitled to fire her. And incidentally, she was lying. I mean, it was clear that, even when she testified before Congress, when she did her butter wouldn't melt in my mouth routine, I'm such a mousy little person. I don't know what I could have done wrong and to have upset President Trump. Even then, it was obvious that she was lying. She knew all about Burisma, and she was lying about Burisma.
I have to go after the Republicans here. I expect it from the Democrats, fine. But
right.
You can't tell me on these congressional committees, you don't have at least a few staffers that could audit her telephone calls using U.S. government phone lines and say, who did you talk to? Oh, it looks like you spent 80% of your time on Hunter and Burisma. But that's not in her testimony. Oh, I don't know. I think I probably dealt with it at one point or another.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, you know what I would have done? If I had been a congressperson, I would have brought the phone file, the phone run it, what you get with your bill, and just put it on your desk and say, Masha, you're under oath right now. So how much time did you put into it? And then pick it up.
Right.
Phone records.
Right. Yeah.
Is that hard?
Yeah.
No, these people are just idiots.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly right. And so now the Republicans are in a real pickle. They had an opportunity. They had the Democrats dead to rights. They caught the Obama people with their hands in the cookie jar, and they let them escape. And now they got the
they're turning it
coming after them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's what did Nixon say about when he was being persecuted for Watergate? He said, "I gave them the knife and they stuck it in and twisted it with relish."
That's right. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right. Yeah. No, I gave them a sword. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's politics. If you don't like it, go do something else. But if you're going to be in politics, then it's a vicious business.
It's a blood sport.
Right.
Ask the Clintons.
Exactly. It's like we're still got naive. Let's say, oh, they've suffered enough. I'm gonna let it go. You see Hillary Clinton rubbing her hands.
No, this is the type of politics say, I'm not done until I have a scalp.
Right, that's it. Yeah. All right, Peter. We will, of course, maintain our customary laser-like focus on the doings of the Biden DOJ. We're on Rumble. Please look us up on Rumble. And remember, if you like the gag rule, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.